Hi everybody, Dr. Lisa Thompson here of drlisamthompson.com, and I'm coming to you live from my home office outside of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, and welcome to another edition of The Doctor Is In Live. I tried to get this on about a few minutes ago, and for some reason everywhere around my house I'm getting a weak connection. We've been having some very windy weather up here in Minnesota, and that's been affecting our wireless for some reason. But I'm really excited to have you on the show today. And what we're going to be talking... Hey guys, it's Dr. Lisa here. I've been trying to get around my house to figure out where is a good live connection. So I have to come outside here, and I have to be wearing my sunglasses when I'm out here. But I'm really excited that you're here today because we are going to be talking about a simple daily method of operation using Twitter. Hey Keith, glad that you're on the show. Hey Greg, glad that you're on the show today. Just make sure that you click the notification button. Now this is a Twitter following schedule that I use, and it only takes 15 minutes per day to do. And this is perfect if you're first getting started. Now in the last couple of episodes of The Doctor Is In, I've talked about how to automate your process with Twitter, where we got Status Brew and Tweet Jukebox all set up and ready to go. Now it's time to rock and roll. So what you want to do is you need to understand that Twitter allows you to follow up to 1,000 people in a 24-hour period. So that 24-hour period starts the minute you start following someone. So if you put a schedule... Oh, awesome. Greg says a new notification came up with a small live video. Pretty cool. All right, so what you need to remember with Twitter with the 1,000 followers is it's in a 24-hour period. So it's not going to be like from midnight to midnight unless you started following people at that time. So if you start following people like at 5 in the afternoon, you won't be able to start following another 1,000 people until 5 in the afternoon the next day. So you have to make sure that you pick a time and you stay consistent with it when you're following people on Twitter, especially if you're getting to the point where you're following 1,000 people per day. But if you're first getting started and you have under 2,000 followers, you should not and do not try to follow and start following 1,000 people a day. And here's why. Twitter, hey Ray, glad to have you on. What Twitter does is that if they see that you're following a whole bunch of people really fast, what that's going to do is they're going to think that you're a spam bot. And we don't want that to happen. And what happens is that what Twitter considers spam bots is that if there's a high follower, you're following a lot of people, but a lot of people aren't following you back. So you don't want to be doing that. I say start with 100 people per day. And once you get to 2,000 people, then you can start to scale it and eventually work up to 1,000 people. Hi, Teresa. Glad to have you on the show. I'm coming to you outside from my office here in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. And what we're going to talk about now is when you're following people, you want to make sure on Status Brew that you have some filters in place. And these are settings. And that's why I love Status Brew, is that you can create settings that you can save, and so when you start to follow people, you're going to be able to have that setting already in place. So that's going to help you a lot. So the things that I check for filters is, number one, they have to be active within the last month. The second thing that I look for is that they have a picture in their account, not a Twitter egg. Okay, usually if you see like a Twitter egg, that means that it's a spam bot. And the reason that I want people within 30 days is that if people are active on 30 days, they're going to want to interact with you. That means they're fairly active on Twitter. You don't want to be following people that haven't been on Twitter more than 30 days because, they're not going to engage with you. You want engaged Twitter followers who are actually using the network. The other thing that I look at is that it's a public account. If it's private, I don't go out there and I will follow them. Because what happens is if it's a private account and you click follow, then they have to go and click and add you. And to me, if you're going to be a professional, you know, you want to be able to have your stuff be public because you're not afraid to show off who you are. And if you see someone who's private, you often wonder, what are they hiding? Okay? So that's why I don't follow those that have a protected account. Now, those are the basic tips that I have for people, you know, when you want to follow. And then don't be concerned as if you're going through a status group. You can start, I click the fast follow button because what it does is it's now going to bring up all of the people that I can follow. And I can follow them very quickly. Now, what Status Brew does now, you can follow Twitter accounts, and you can also do hashtag research. So if you typed in home business or network marketing or health and wellness into Status Brew, what that'll allow you to do is it will make you, you can get all these accounts, okay, and you can start following people. But don't get concerned where if you start following people really fast that all of a sudden Twitter puts this, you know, put up like this big pop-up that says, stop, you're going too fast. That's okay. So what you just need to do is just slow down, maybe wait 2 or 3 minutes, and then start again. Now, if you're only following 100 people at a time, you're going to be able to follow 100 people within 1 to 2 minutes. So that's really cool. But if you're at the point where you're following 500 to 1,000, you're probably going to get those little pop-ups coming up, and you just have to wait a couple minutes, and that should be okay. Now, you also have to unfollow people who aren't following you back, and that's what Status Brew also allows you to do. So what I recommend is that when you're unfollowing people who don't follow you back, you want to set the filter for 5 days. Okay, so if you're first getting started on Twitter, you want to wait at least until the 6th day to start unfollowing people who aren't following you back. And you know, and usually 5 days, that gives people enough time to follow you. Excuse me, with this wind, it got just some hair in my mouth there. So what you want to be able to do is, so if let's say you started doing following on Twitter on a Sunday, you'll want to wait until Saturday to start unfollowing people. And then what you can do is I recommend, you know, you follow people who aren't following you back within 5 days, and you just keep unfollowing people until it says, okay, that's all we have for you. And you keep doing that, and what that's going to do is you're going to have people on who are active and they are engaging with you. And that's how you really build a vibrant community. And the key to having a really good balance of followers to unfollowers is you want to keep those numbers close together as possible. Hey, Joni, glad to have you on the show today. So that's how you can use Status Brew to really start plugging people into your Twitter following. And now we're going to allow, hey Jed, glad to have you on the show today. And what this allows you to do when you have your followers to, you're building your following and you have your tweet jukebox set up with your content, what that's going to do now is now you're going to have the sifting and sorting mechanism starting. So now you're going to have people who are truly interested. They are going to start reaching out to you through direct message. If you use the direct message tips that I taught you earlier this week on Facebook Live and the doctor is in, you will be able to be quite successful in getting people to interact with you. Because remember, you know, automation is not just posting your tweets up with links. What this is a sifting and sorting mechanism so that you're not wasting time engaging in conversations with people who are just using Twitter for personal. They're not using it for business. So that's why these two apps, Tweet Jukebox and Status Brew, are so vital for you. Now, did you get value today from this training? If you did, leave a comment and share. And I've got one final housekeeping item I want to share with you. This is really exciting. Is my good friend Adam Chandler, who taught me all about automating Twitter. I just adore the guy. He is going to be doing a free Twitter training Wednesday night. That's going to be October 19th. where he's going to give you updates. There's some new updates to Twitter, and especially with Tweet Jukebox, with all that new stuff I was telling you about. He's going to be coming on and sharing some more updates for how you can get 12 extra leads per day for your business just using Twitter. So what you need to do is I want you to go to webinar.drlisamthompson.com and register and make sure you show up, because Adam always brings the goods when he does his trainings. And I'm telling you, when Adam first introduced to me Status Brew and Tweet Jukebox back in January, I had 7,800 followers, and within 3 months I was able to grow my followers to over 20,000, and it's always been a steady stream of leads for me. Now, if you haven't had a chance to catch my blog post, I wrote a blog post on each of these things I've talked about with Twitter this week. Get on my newsletter at workwithdrlisathompson.com. That way you'll never miss when I send out a blog post. Now, in the last couple of sessions, I've added 2 videos to my blog post, one detailing the Facebook Live, and I've also put a little mini tutorial on how to get things set up with Status Brew and Tweet Jukebox so that you can get going. And then that way, when you come to Adam's training Wednesday night, you can have questions to ask him. I'm really pumped about this webinar coming up because I know you're going to get a lot of value from Adam. So with that said, I've got to head off here. I got to go pick up my hubby from school, and we've got date night coming up. So we're going to go out and have a little happy hour and some fun. So I got to make sure I go pick him up, and I'm going to be on my way. And with that said, have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.